Hi there, you're watching TechRadar. I'm John McCann.
And I'm James Peckham. We're both from TechRadar and we have the Samsung Galaxy Fold, this phone right in front of us, that foldable phone you've probably seen already. And John here has been using it for a few days now?
A few days, yes.
How are you finding it?
It's really cool, but in a way I would never recommend anyone buy.
Okay.
Which is a really strange way to feel about anything that we review. But yeah, this phone is really exciting, but not as a prospect for you to go out and purchase, but what it holds for the future. Just opening it up and having a screen that literally folds in half and it comes alive and it's fully operational and you can fold it back a bit and it still works. It's just crazy. It's that sci-fi stuff. It's the stuff you saw in movies as a kid and you're like, oh my God, wouldn't that be cool? And now it's actually here in your hands as a proper working device. You know, apps work on it. You can play PUBG on it. I can make phone calls. I can go on social. I can listen to music, everything. It does it all perfectly. And that's really cool. But it does feel very fragile.
Is that the only reason you wouldn't buy one? You wouldn't recommend other people buy one?
First of all, it's the price. This isn't cheap. You're looking at about $2,000 US, 2,000 British pounds, aka wherever you are in the world, a lot of money. So first, that's the first stumbling block. You know, you can get top-end phones which are half the price. I mean, 1,000 is still a lot of money for a phone, but this is almost double that. So it's very expensive to start with. There were well-publicised issues with this phone in its first iteration at the start of 2019, where Samsung tried to launch it and there were some design issues which meant the stuff was breaking, basically. It went back to the drawing board and it's come back now towards the end of 2019 with Gen 2, but this is still the only version that's ever been available for sale. So basically what they've done is they've gone back. There were some issues with the hinge. There's over 100 moving parts in that. So they've gone back and they've made that more robust. They've closed up the top and the bottom of the hinge because it was a bit more open last time to stop the amount of dust and lint that can fall in there. And the biggest change is they've just made the border all the way around this big screen just slightly thicker so it overlaps the protective film on the display, which people are peeling off, which is quite actually important, and thus breaking the screen. So you can now not see an edge of any of that film now. It's all hidden. The bezels are not huge. You're talking just a couple of mil. So in terms of that usability, that's much better. It's still a phone that folds in half, and by its nature it does feel a little fragile. When you set it up for the first time, part of the setup process, it says on the screen, do not press too hard on the foldable screen, do not try and bend it the wrong way, do not get it wet. And you know, it's okay, it's all good advice, but it also makes you remember, oh my God, this is quite a fragile device and I've paid a lot of money for it, so you need to treat it with a bit more care than you would maybe your normal phone, which you just fling into a bag without too much thought.
So do you find that rim around the outside of the device makes it feel a little bit cheaper than it should in that way, considering you're spending £2,000 on a phone?
I wouldn't say it was that thick, and I haven't really noticed it from day-to-day use. It's not really an issue. However, the overall design aesthetic, it's maybe not the prettiest phone. It is pretty heavy. It is chunky. You know, if it's in your pocket, you know about it. If you've got small pockets, it isn't going to fit. So in that terms of, it's not quite the svelte premium design we're used to seeing from the sort of main S10 and Note 10 ranges or Apple's iPhones. But again, you can almost allow it its slight quirky design because of what it's doing. I mean, I'm not sure there's been a more exciting phone than this launched in the past 5 years or so. I mean, the technology advancements made in our phones every year is quite staggering. You know, you compare smartphones from 5 years ago and the cameras on them to the ones that we're getting today, and the difference is crazy. And the amount of power and performance and versatility that our smartphones back is incredible. But they have always been a rectangle, a black rectangle with a screen on the front and some cameras on the back. This is the first time in a long time we've really seen something dramatically different in terms of form factor.
Definitely, and there are competitors that are doing similar things at the moment. So you've got the Huawei Mate X, which is a similar kind of design to this. There's also rumours of Motorola making a foldable device as well, and a few others. Do you think this is the future in that way?
It's definitely the first of many foldable phones. Whether foldable phones as a whole concept will last more than a couple of years remains to be seen. The design needs to be refined. The use cases may need to be better explained, and it's almost we're at a point where we're not quite sure what the use cases are for the device yet because it's so new. People are still experimenting. Once you get app developers really developing for foldable displays, then actually maybe we'll see really new experiences we've never had before because of the form factors and the malleable design. We know, as you've said, Motorola and Huawei are working on them. We know TCL, we also do Alcatel and BlackBerry phones as well as their own brand phones, have various foldable concepts, and I've seen some of those and used them. We know Xiaomi has a working prototype which actually has a double fold to it, which is kind of crazy. And there are a few others as well. So there are plenty of people working on this. TCL has already committed to launching an affordable foldable phone in 2020.
What does that mean though?
Well, by affordable, they mean in comparison to what's currently on the market, because the Huawei Mate X, while still not available, has been priced at a similar point to this. So they're saying affordable in terms of this, not in terms of the whole phone market. So TCL's phone may not be maybe as quite as polished or as premium, but as soon as you get a player creating this sort of form factor at a lower price point, that suddenly drives the market price point down.
Definitely.
So, a second or third gen Samsung, while this is around that 2000 mark, we could quite easily in 18 months or so see prices maybe drop towards that 1000 mark, and then suddenly you're looking at this phone costing the same as a top end Samsung or iPhone, which will be interesting.
From using it over the last few days, have you found any use case scenarios that you didn't expect to see, or anything that you've solidified your opinion on? Like, for example, was watching Netflix been a game changer?
For me, that was the easiest and clearest use case for this phone. My commute is quite long, and I regularly watch Netflix on my phone. It's in my pocket, I can slip it out and watch Netflix. However, this presenting a bigger screen, and it's not the size of my iPad or my laptop, but it is a bigger screen which actually very comfortably fits into my pocket. I can flip it open and I've got a slightly more comfortable viewing experience, which is just nice. It just adds, it takes you out of your surroundings a bit more, as it's got a bit more screen and sucks you more into the action, which is really nice. So I enjoyed that, and that was my instant thing. I've got long commutes, I watch a lot of video. This will be great for just watching video, because I don't, especially on a crowded train, I don't want to have to be digging for a bag, getting out a laptop or an iPad to get a bigger screen. If I can just slip this out of my pocket and open up the screen, that's really nice. Gaming is also interesting with the bigger display. PUBG, for example, that fits the screen well. They've tweaked the code so it works well with the Galaxy Fold. So that takes advantage of the whole real estate of that 4x3 inch screen, which is a bit of an odd aspect ratio in mobile terms. We're used to 16:9, 18:9, 21:9 these days. App developers can develop their apps specifically for that screen. It takes a small amount of tweakery to do it, to take advantage. And so playing PUBG on it, because you've got a bigger screen, your fingers are taking up less space, so you've got more of a field of view. You've got a bigger screen so you can see more of what's going around. There's plenty of power in it, so it can run at high graphics, it can run at HDR levels, and with 5G connectivity, you can use that 5G to play online out and about without having to be on Wi-Fi, which is nice, which I've done in the park. So that was cool. So there's plenty of flexibility. As I said, there's 5G as well, so it's future-proofed in terms of network connections and maybe what that next generation network will bring to us in the coming years.
So it's only 5G in the UK though. If you're in the US, you do not get the 5G version, you can only buy the 4G version. For some reason in the UK we can't buy the 4G version, they've just gone all 5G. I don't think they've really fully clarified why that is, but I think it's because in the UK there's only one carrier which has taken it on, so it's an exclusive to one carrier, and that carrier is really pushing 5G, so that's why they're taking it, I believe. I mean, there's a chance that maybe the 4G version will come out here next year and the 5G in the US as the networks continue to expand, but I would say the likelihood is we'll be looking at the second gen models. And we've already started seeing rumours of second gen models. There's been a few patents and stuff that have come out suggesting that Galaxy Fold 2 is already underway within Samsung. I'm sure it is, they're probably on the Galaxy Fold 5 or something already thinking about it, but do you think the second gen is going to be when that kind of thing comes through, or are we going to have to wait a few more years until it becomes a thing that we can recommend to people?
I think realistically for most people you want to wait at least at the minimum 2 years, and even in 2 years time there's still going to be flagship level prices. In terms of getting a mid-range foldable phone, you're probably 5 to 10 years off that, just because of the complexity and the newness of the technology. But with any sort of tech, when it first comes out it's super expensive, and then several years later it comes right down. My favourite example is 4K TVs. When they came out, they were astronomically expensive, and now you can get one for under 400, and it's super easy to pick up. So yeah, next year we should have a greater breadth of foldable options, and by that I mean maybe 4 to 5. But all the competition of the form factor suddenly means more development in it, more research, and a lowering of a price point. So that's a good thing for a consumer, but it is going to take a while to catch on, if it does catch on. And yeah, it's still a niche product. Can they be created, and can use cases be found to make them more useful to more people? That remains to be seen.
Brilliant. Thank you for joining me, John.
No worries.
Thank you for watching this video. If you're interested in more things on the Samsung Galaxy Fold, we've got a full review of the phone up on TechRadar.com, and we also have a few different videos about the Galaxy Fold as well. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We always love to hear your comments as well. So are you interested in the Galaxy Fold? Would you buy it? Would you wait? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you again very soon.